Hey, what is up everybody? Blades here, and today for you guys in the video of Persona 5X. Inside today's video, guys, we're actually going to be going ahead and doing a artifact slash I guess main stat and substats guide here, because a lot of you guys need some help with this. I've gotten this comment a few times throughout the I want to say just throughout the year in general, and I haven't really done too much for it. Like, we had an artifact guide very far way back when, but we have not had any recently, right? So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're just going to go ahead and go over each set. Pretty much it's going to be a long video, and the main stats, substats, exactly how they look and stuff like that. If you guys are on KR, the symbols are going to look different, but I have them formatted in a way where at least you'll see each exact substat or main stat in order, so you can kind of combine, you know, kind of look at it. The only thing that's going to be kind of hard for you is substat wise, but I'm pretty sure you can kind of match up the what is it called, the symbols as well from there as well. So just try to do your best with that one, but I do have a full thing for TW for the people who don't have a translator. So artifacts itself, artifacts are going to be something that you're going to be able to farm around. I think it was like level 30 or maybe 35 is where you really unlock artifacts, and they are a huge part of this game, much like how it's like in Genshin, HSR, stuff like that. Artifacts are going to be the main thing that goes on your characters. If you actually do have these artifacts, they're going to boost certain stats that overall will help you out no matter what you're doing here, whether it's either just going for an HP stat for sustainability, attack stats to actually give yourself those absolute annoying I want to like say damaging type stacks. You're going to do these cards automatically. You're going to use them a lot. Now, whether you need them early game or late game is where things get a little bit confusing. Early game, luckily, you don't really need these guys too often. You can get them from like mementos. You can get them from regular grinding if you want to. So I would highly advise, if you're going to start actually doing artifacts or starting to do actual artifact grinding, you want to get higher up in the actual artifact level, because if we go ahead and click one of these artifacts, you guys can see it's split, of course, from 35 all the way to 80. 35 is where you first can get these, which you can get one of these guys up to 2 of these dudes for purples, and then no matter what, 2 grays, 4 of these blues. As you slowly go ahead and get up, you can slowly see which you're getting permanently. So now we're getting 2 blues no matter what. We're getting 2 to 3 purples, and then we have a chance of getting 1 to 2 golds as well. Now those are just chances, they're not automatically there. This is like these here, you're not guaranteed any of these, but you are able to get these no matter what, somewhat, when it comes down to these. You can get 2 to 3 guaranteed, 3 to 4 guaranteed out of the purples and stuff like that. Now these are going to be kind of iffy if you want to go ahead and start grinding these dudes. I would suggest, if you really can't wait and you really want to have a decent time for grinding cards for golds and stuff like that, this would be around level 60. Try your hardest to get to level 60, whether it's free to play, whether you're paying, stuff like that, before you decide to actually start grinding artifacts. The reasoning for this is because a lot of the artifacts are not necessary. I'll be honest, I did not start grinding on my free to play account till around till level 60 for artifact cards. You can get all the artifact cards you need, especially from mementos, in which mementos is very easy with this. Just by going ahead and completing a lot of this stuff in here, as well as just doing regular old chest grinding and stuff like that, you'll be able to get a lot of these actual artifacts ready and easily. There's no need to farm them. Pretty simple, pretty easy. But the question then comes down to, what exactly do all of these artifacts do? I get this question quite a lot. A lot of people don't understand, of course. Usually, before I got the at least translator back here, a lot of people were asking me, how are you knowing what to build? What do you actually do? How does this work? How do artifacts in this game work? Well, to pretty much just simplify things down, no matter what, how it does go, is artifacts, no matter what, you need at least a 4 set. There used to be a thought process of maybe we can go with 2 sets, maybe we can go with that. But now this is guaranteed, no matter what, to be a 4 set type deal, where you are always going to use the 4 set, and you're going to have a universal card. By utilizing the 4 set here, if we go ahead and pull up our actual characters, you'll see, like, let's take Howler for example. We'll go to Howler, and you see we have the 4 set. The 4 set will then give you a 4 set effect here. These set effects are, of course, are specific depending on the card set, of course, and then of course you're going to end up pairing these guys with a universal card of a sort. So each 4 set, if you go ahead and click one of them and actually check these little cards here, universal cards will have certain things that they can actually pair with. If the universal card does pair with the 4 set, you then get an extra actual passive here, or at least an extra ability that will actually help you out. So with this one, for me, I'm actually getting all of my Phantom Thieves are dealing more damage to enemies who have a negative state. By negative state, they're usually talking about status effects, so this is how this is usually gonna go. Now, each of these card sets, or at least each of these little sets here, will normally have a universal card of a sort. That is usually 3 to 2 of these guys. Sometimes there's a couple that are a little bit niche that only have 1. These are going to be like, I want to say physical. They're going to be like wind damage, fire damage. There's usually only 1 universe card that goes for those guys, while many of the other universe cards are usually for 2 or 3 different type of sets, but they all do different things. So if we wanted to go ahead and get through some of these, let's just quickly run through some of them real quick. So let's go ahead and pull up the what's called card sets here to actually show the case of what each one of them does. Now, I do have the translator up here, but there's just things that I feel like it's just better to actually translate correctly, because I know this isn't fully translated sometimes correctly, but this one is translated luckily here. So for this one, you get yourself effect hit rate, and it's also for flame related characters that also work off of negative conditions. Negative conditions are pretty much status elements. So this is the frustration card here, which if you do have that, it's going to be really helpful for characters like Howler, for example. That's going to be really helpful because she works off of those negative actual status effects. So it's really actually good to have this because you're getting that bonus and fire damage. As for the other one that is actually in this one is actually called Triumph. And this one itself is meant for characters like, you would like to say Mont Figure Skater, the 5-star Mont here. This is meant for crit rate bonuses being at least a 2 set effect, and then for the 4 set effect, it's more for a follow-up attack damage increasage. Now, this doesn't go for every follow-up character. Like for example, Bowie, she does not use this set, but it is usable for those characters that need that extra crit rate and actually need those follow-up damages that really don't have to rely too much on at least their elements. So that's just for that one. Now for the next 2 here, we have 2 other sets here. These 2 sets are a little bit interesting. We have the first one, which is Reconciliation here, and that's this guy right here. Reconciliation right here, or Pensive, and all this one does is help out, at least I want to say, our energy here. This isn't anything too crazy, right? This isn't anything too crazy. It helps out our energy. It's pretty decent. It's all right. It's nothing too insane, right? It's just a character card that you're going to be utilizing every now and again, and that's about it. That's it. You just go with it, and that's about it for it. As for the 4 set, helps out with highlights. That's it. Nothing too crazy. Pretty alright. It's alright. Oh wait, I got these mixed up actually. This is Pensive. The other one's Reconciliation here. This one here is Reconciliation, and this one actually helps out your speed stats. For this one, it's just an increase in speed. That's it. Get yourself an increase in HP, defense, and attack. That's it. Nothing too crazy, nothing too hard to actually figure out, but that is what that's for. Now these two, you're actually going to see this first one quite a lot, or at least this second one here quite a lot, because this is the Blessed set. It's called Virtue. It increases Blessed damage. It also helps out just Blessed skills when they crit, of course, and it goes up when our HP is actually less than 50%, then of course we don't get that crit bonus, though if it's above 50%, which normally you are going to have your characters above that 50% mark, you are getting that extra crit. So crit based set, but it's also Blessed, so pretty good. This one here is meant for physical damagers here, but it also is meant for other things, such as like we end up having gain stacks for at least resentment, which allows us to deal after every hit for pretty much skill damage. We actually are able to increase our attack. This you will only see under certain circumstances. There's not many characters that are truly utilizing this to their max potential. If I am correct, I think my what's it called, my Mesa is actually using this as well, so really do keep this in mind. It is a good set. You just got to kind of figure out who you want to put on. Now for the next one that we're going to be going over, this one is actually quite interesting. Is a EHR set, and it is a Navi set here. So for the first one that we're going to take a look at is going to be this one. This one is actually called Duty, and this increases your HP by 12%, and if it's equipped on a navigator, it increases all the thieves increased by at least HP, attack, defense by 8%. This can actually be paired with 2 universal cards as well, and is actually really good. So good for navigators, especially if you do need that HP, attack, and defense stats. Really good for them. Next one that we're looking at is of course going to be the EHR set. This one's called Joy. This actually helps out psi damage, so it's going to be mainly for those psi users. But why I call it the EHR set is because once we do pair it with at least the universal card, we are getting a little bit more EHR in the long run as well. So I usually call it the EHR set, but it's meant for psi users. It helps out your attack, does more psi damage, pretty much just that, simple and easy. Now hopefully I am not going too quick, but there's a lot of things in this one, so I don't want to make the video way too long for you guys. But now we're going to take out a look at the next two here. Got the first one, which is interference. Now interference we haven't seen many people use too much anymore, but it helps out with curse damage. So characters like Joker, stuff like that, or characters that are usually debuffing, this is this set for you, especially for curse damage. That's going to be the set for you. This one here is meant for any character that needs a ton of shields, ton of defense. Any character like Cherish or Puppet, this is the set effect for you. This helps out your defense and it also helps out your shield effects. Now that we're going to go ahead and go on to the next one here, we're down to our last 4 sets here, or well, last 5, because I haven't done actually the life set yet. The life set is quite interesting. It's actually a really good set as well, and that's going to be this the second one right here, called Sovereignty. The whole point of this one is it helps out your HP. That's all it does. You deal, of course, 8% HP additional damage, of course, if you're attacking the person who is the main target. That's all. Simple. More HP, great. Electric damage, that's all you really got to know for this one. Get more stacks depending on how many electric damages you do or electric moves you do. Pretty simple. Now the next one, this is meant for my fire people, some of my fire mains out there. Here we have actually 2 of them. We have Bravery. This is actually meant for the physical side, and the other one is meant for the fire side. If you have the 4 set, you're getting yourself some crit damage and crit rate, which is always nice. If you have the 4 set of this one, you're getting yourself some extra attack. This is meant for fire. And once again, Bravery is meant for physical. All right, so then let's go ahead and go over to the next set here. This one is going to be more of our healer and ice set. So the healer set here is meaning for at least a healing effect. You only use this really on Morgana. You can use it on Marion as well, but it's nothing too crazy. Helps out with healing. The other one here actually is an ice set and is meant for follow-ups as well. So if you're using character that, at least a character that utilizes their ice side of things, so Yusuke, you would usually use this, 4-star Mont, usually use this, or you can even use it on the 5-star Mont with the ice form, though I wouldn't really recommend it because she's going to be using a different set in general, but it's still an option. So ice set for the most part, so you gotta know. Now when it comes down to the next one, we have the last 2 pairs. This is the basic set, which is the strength set. Strength set is something you will get all the time throughout this game. It helps out with attack, at least attack upping, and it also increases attack every 6 turns, or at least every turn for a whole 6 turns. Pretty dang decent set. We have the win set, so any characters that are using win related type moves, such as the 5-star Mont, Florette, those characters, you'll be using this. It's meant for DPSs, so only use it for win DPS. Now the last set that we're going to go ahead and talk about, and I almost just went out of here immediately, is going to be the nuke set, as well as, like, I guess I can just call this the tanking set for the most part. It helps out highlight, but it also decreases the damage taken here. Pretty nice. It's called Affluence. If you guys want to check it out, be sure to use it. I use it on my cord all the time. Really good set. And then the other one is the nuke set, which is Truth. All of this is used for is nuke related characters, so like Bino, Makoto, those are going to be your characters that you really use this on. I would highly suggest it. But now we've went over exactly those cards. I'm sorry if it was a mouthful, sorry if I spoke too fast, but you have to realize all those cards actually take a while to explain in detail, and I think that's the best I could do, especially if I'm going to try to do this kind of quick for a lot of you guys with the substats and main stats included. So now that we went over that information, let's go ahead and go over the main stats and substats. Now, for most of us who are on phone and stuff like that, we won't ever have all of these things translated. You guys could very well match them up, in which this is exactly what I'm going to be showcasing. So if we go ahead and we take a character that pretty much has everything, right? As you can see, he has the HP, attack, defense, speed, recovery, stuff like that. All of this stuff is the normal thing. So let's take Closer, for example. HP, attack, defense, speed, SP recovery. All of this normally for the attackers are going to be laid out in the same way. If it's like a supporter, you're gonna have to lay it out a certain different way, but you can kind of pick and choose, or at least what's it called? You can kind of figure this out as well with translating. So what I have on the screen here is something I actually sent my little brother because he didn't have the translator at the time and he didn't know exactly what it was. I didn't have the translator either, but I knew what the actual the kanji and stuff like looked like, so I was able to actually figure it out. So for the first one, if you are on TW, you're at least, I want to call them like icons, but I don't really know the names of them, how it's really said, but I'll just say lettering. If the lettering looks like this for TW, follow this. If it looks different on KR, it's still the same thing. If you pull up a DPS character like this, you're able to figure out exactly what each stat means. So the first three is HP, attack, and defense. The fourth one is going to be for speed. This goes pretty much the order of when your characters are going to go. So let's say I have Joker, but I also have what's it called, Cord in the team. Well, my Cord has 112 speed, my Joker has 110. Well, then Cord's gonna go first, then Joker next, whoever next after that, or either let's say the rest of my team is above 110 speed. They're all gonna go first and Joker's gonna go last. This helps you set up Joker to be an actual DPS, seeing you have all your supports faster than him later on. But anyways, speed. SP recovery. What this is for is if you need to recover SP by guarding or anything like this, or just recovering SP in general through just passive means, this is the rate that you're going to get your SP back. That's all you got to really know about it. Damage bonus. This is going to be anything that is actual just extra damage. You get that tallied on there. That will help you out no matter what you're doing, and which is really, really nice. Now 7, I said unknown, but this is actually the pen rate or penetration rate. All this is the next another things, how the percentage of how much your damage will actually go through different defenses. So depending on their defense stats, how much of your damage will actually go through their defense is what penetration is for, or pen rate is for. Next one after, with those three symbols, 10.5%, there is actually meant for crit rate. Crit rate, of course, self-explanatory. Next one after, crit damage, self-explanatory. And then lastly, we have EHR, which is effect hit rate. This is on the likelihood of how many times you can possibly get an effect off. So let's say you're using anyone like, I guess we can take, let's take Ren, for example. She has a forget status, right? You can proc that status, though it does have a base chance. Well, if you have EHR, you're able to actually affect that chance and make it a little bit more often depending on what you're doing. So of course, that's always great. EHR is always nice. Be sure to get that as well. Pretty dang nice stat. Definitely want to get that. But that is everything that it comes down to. Of course, there are some other stats here, like we have for her, she has effect res, right? Well, not other characters have that, so there's going to be different kanji or different lettering for it, which is something you kind of have to figure out on yourself, and that's going to be a little bit harder to do, especially since I have my thing actually what's it called, I think it's translated. But there are a few that are kind of wild cards, like for example, this says electro damage or electric damage. Don't worry about those, they are not really too affected. Just really, if you're looking at DPSs and stuff like that, it's usually going to come down to this order, in which once again is like this. You can kind of match them up just like that to figure out exactly what they are meant for. But anyways, we have went over every last thing. Substats kind of work the same way. They're not really hard, they're broken down kind of the same way. An easy way to figure out what a substat is, let's say you don't have anything translated, right? And you really want to figure out what you have. Something that I started doing was, let's say I wanted to figure this out. You would level it up once and you would look at the logos. If you see a lightning bolt like this, that usually means crit damage. If you see a sword like that, that's attack. If you see something with a sword and a plus, that is damage bonus. And the same goes for some of the other icons. I think we can actually check this in the other section here. Let me go ahead and check. Yes, press this here, it actually shows you. So sword, attack. This here, defense. Water droplet, HP. Water droplet with a swirl, SP. Anything with a boot, speed, crit rate, crit damage, SP recovery, which is the water droplet with a plus. Defense ignore, aka pin. This is going to be downwards arrow. Then you don't have to worry about knockdown count. Effect hit rate, boom, has this on it. Pretty simple. Damage bonus, once again, the plus. And healing effect and healing received both look like this. Pretty simple, pretty easy. You don't really have to worry too much about some of those things, but if you did want to check the logo and actually figure out exactly what they do, that's the best way to go about it. But anyways, Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please do smash that like button, which go ahead and consider subscribing if you are new here. Without a doubt, this is a lot of stuff. It's a lot of things to learn, especially if you're getting to the game. Though you can look back and reference this video, and if you ever do have any actual comments or anything that you aren't sure about, just be sure to join the Discord, or at least join my Discord, and I'll be able to actually assist you there. Or if you want, just leave a comment and I'll try to assist in. But till next time, everybody, peace out.